Good morning.
Sound of our teen sports listeners, I'm your host, Erica, the queen of teen. Please tune in.
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m.
Hey, welcome back to Teen Sports Radio, the show that fuels your game, feeds your brain, and powers up your purpose. Woohoo! I love it. It's a beautiful day out today. We've got a full house. Kristine Marie, a view from the deck. Good morning, Kristine.
Good morning.
Woo! Dawn Sanders. She's shuffling. I see she's shuffling her cards. We're going to get to it in 1 second. Don Sanders is in the house. He's got a hooga for us today. How you doing, Don?
Hello.
Yeah, we've got Dominique Hackett. She's got a segment for us as well. How you doing, Dominique?
Good morning.
Yeah, and then we're going to continue with the money manners, with the student loan crisis. We're going to talk about that. And then we've got Sky also in the wings. He's on mute right now. I don't know exactly where he is, but he's going to be with us shortly. So let's get to it. All right, who wants to start? Dominique, who do you want to talk? We want to do love. Okay.
I want to give a little bit of love and gratitude to Lawson's, which is a local company for us up in the Magnolia Shopping Center. And they have, if you miss something in your CSA box, if you miss a veggie, they have really wonderful organic veggies. And what I do is I come in with my own reusable cotton bag, and I can use my bags to bag my vegetables so my vegetables don't have to be in plastic. Thank you, Lawson's.
Yeah, I love Lawson's. They're great.
Great. Kristine, do you want to give some love? Give me some love.
Yeah, actually, I want to give some love to the Savoy Deli downtown. I love that. It's a little locally owned place, and they have the best, they have one of the best salad bars actually in town. Fresh, organic, delicious, and really good food. So
they've made it family owned, family run. I love it. Their desserts are great. You share desserts. You brought all. I like inviting you because you always find the desserts.
The good ones.
The gluten-free, all this, so you can cheat, but you're not really cheating.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
Don Sanders, who do you want to give some love to?
In my strip of Miners Oaks, the unincorporated side of Ojai here, going from end to end, John at Coffee Connection, Steve and Olivia at Farmer and the Cook, and at the other end, Flor de Michoacan. They hold this end of town, the unincorporated side of town, down beautifully with everything from great food to coffee to organic vegetables, burritos, you name it.
Beautiful. Okie dokie. All right. Dr. D, our producer, who do you want to give what business do you want to give some love to?
Oh, business. I'm going to give it to that wonderful A-framed restaurant down the street from the radio station whose name I cannot pronounce.
They've got really good burritos.
They do indeed.
It's a Mexican restaurant. Yeah, I actually went there once. And I was great. It was early in the morning. I was hungry. Nobody was in the parking lot. I sat down by myself inside and had a breakfast burrito. It was very delightful.
Yeah, La Guararita or something like that. I'm not pronouncing it correctly, I know. But that's who I'm going to send love to because they do have some really good food. I'm reading. I actually had lunch there a couple of weeks ago.
Nice. All right, let's get some information from the stars. Let's see what's going to be moving forward. All right, Kristine Marie, a view from the deck. Talk to me.
Okay, well, we today we're in Leo. I'm sorry, I just lost my spot here. Here we go. The sun is in Leo. We just had a full moon back on August 9th, and now the moon is waning, which means it's so before when we did that new moon, if you guys made your intentions, how did that come out? Did anything happen as the moon filled out for you? Because now the moon is what it's called waning. It waxes until it's full, and then it wanes after it gets full and is moving back down to a new moon. And so that moon now, so that moon today is actually went into Aries, and so the moon in Aries is sort of a high energy. Aries is fire, and it's kind of moving forward, and it likes to start things. So this is a great time to actually, emotionally at least, tackle new things and difficult things. And then it's also, so moon in Aries, sun in Leo. It's a lot of fire energy right now, which is just a lot of good energy. And it's summer. It's social. It's a really good time. So that's kind of it for the sun and the moon. There's some other things where they're talking different planets, but I won't. It gets a little complicated. I want to do a reading for somebody.
Okay, Dominique, we got time for one card.
Yes, please.
Okay.
One card.
So let me know when you want me to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. Top, bottom, or middle?
Middle.
Okay. Top of the bottom or bottom of the top?
Bottom of the top.
Oh, it's the sun. It's the most positive card in the deck. And the sun, if anything, has felt a little dark. The sun's come out. And always the here comes the sun. It's the Beatles song that always comes to me with this song. It's also about healing and about, just it's a really positive card.
That's fabulous.
I tell you, she got in a little kerfluffle this morning, and it wasn't handled right. And of course, I overreact because I have to protect Dominique, and she handled it like the sun. And I'm like looking
that's
at
really
her.
sweet.
Well, it's true, Dominique, and I'm like, oh my God, there's 30 different ways you could have approached this. You could not have done it more lovingly than you did it. I mean, you just couldn't. So that was the most perfect card. I'm so thankful to all of my co-hosts. I'm so thankful for the show. Dominique, I'm so thankful to you, Kristine and Dawn and everybody. And we've got Karla Corrales waving at us. She's up. Fill up your coffee. We're going to be back with more after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
This is Karla Corrales with Teen Money Matters, and I'd like to go over more today about student loans and what that means for you. Teens, all I can say is if you're not in college yet, please, do everything you can do to not get student loans. Some people get them only because they don't want to live on campus, and I realize it's a cool thing to do, but is it cool for the rest of your life to have that debt? Let's really, really think about, do I absolutely need to borrow this money? But let's go over also now those of us who already have student loans and what it means for you. So on July 4th, President Donald Trump signed the big bill, the great, big, beautiful bill into law. We're calling it the big bill. And what does this bill do? It creates a new income-driven repayment plan. For those who have loans, this could be good, this could be bad. Right now we've been dealing with an IDR plan. It's an income-driven plan. And then there's a RAP plan, the repayment assistance plan. A lot of people were looking for the forgiveness plan, which didn't fall into play like many, many hoped. And I know many of us out there know people, right? We know people who were hoping for that forgiveness plan. And then when COVID came out, we didn't have payments, and people took advantage of that, whether they needed to or not. And we all know people that are in this now predicament where they don't know if they're going to be able to keep their homes. They don't know what's going to happen. And it's scary. You guys know people out there that are in this kind of situation?
Yeah, hey, Karla, it's Erica. I actually know a number of people, especially ones that have higher degrees, PhDs, MDs. I don't know if they're ever going to be able to repay it back. You have to understand, the reason why I've always said this is a crisis, because does anybody have any idea how much money we're talking about as far as what this looks like? As of 2025, Americans owe over $1.7 trillion.
Trillion?
Trillion.
Trillion.
Debt.
I can't count to a trillion.
So yeah, I
can barely count to a billion.
You can't. It's disgusting. And I've been screaming this for years now, and it's because we have friends that have the higher degrees, went and got their graduate's degrees, and then went on and got their PhDs. I mean, they owe $300,000-$400,000. I mean, basically, at the end of the day, they will never, ever, ever own a home. This was just a way. The thing that upsets me is the banks just don't have any accountability. How can this is like a liar loan. I had a friend that bought 3 houses, and she was a florist. Okay. She had a job as a florist because it wasn't stated income. You could just say, and then what it is the bank would say, well, just say you make six figures. Just say it. I mean, you don't have to back it up with documentations or tax returns or whatever. That's why they called them liar loans. So, and there's nobody got in trouble in the banking. And then the same thing rolls out again with these liar loans for students. So this whole forgiveness things, these people should have never been allowed to borrow that much money.
But
you were enslaved.
I want to make an argument for people who want to render service to the community by becoming a doctor, by becoming a PhD. We have encouraged that we want to have these highly educated people in our society. So if we're not going to make it possible for people to afford this higher education, what does that say about our society?
Well, let me ask you this question. How much do you think the colleges play a part?
Huge. Because as soon as
they need the money.
Loans came out, college became more expensive.
Exactly.
It did. And how many times does a book need to change and cost $4,000 or $5,000?
Yeah, you're right.
And I just don't ever hear anybody throwing that out there. It floored me when my daughter went to college and she calls me one day, and this was early 2000s. I need $5,000 for a book. Well, can you buy a used one? No, they changed it again this year. They changed it last year. They're changing it next year. Does the professor really need to change that book every single year and charge that much money? And I'm sorry, professors, you guys are all amazing, wonderful people. You've done a lot for all of our kids, but there's got to be a line.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's honestly, it's like I say, it's the bank, it's the institution's fault. They're backed by the government. And so this whole thing of forgiveness, I'm not an advocate of forgiveness, but at the same time, I think the thing is the bank should be sued. Okay. And then with the money that they get, then you could use that maybe in some kind of forgiveness package to those kids that should have never got those loans. Okay.
That's a good one.
That should have never gotten those. See, it was different waves, especially during the Obama. First phase was they didn't use and they targeted homeowners, but they didn't, wasn't subject and they didn't get to put the lien, on your property. But then Obama's second term, then they used as collateral, as debt. Half the people that signed those papers, they had no idea they were actually, if they don't pay it, whatever like that, the homeowner.
Correct.
Okay.
So there's a lot of misrepresentation.
It used to be like a credit card where there was no asset tied to it. Then all of us, I have a friend who lost her house.
So here,
her child never made it, didn't finish school.
Why?
And then all of a sudden she gets this payment for like $2,200.
Why have we decided?
And then her husband lost her job and they had to sell the house.
Why have we decided that you can't push a student loan through bankruptcy? Why have we decided that that's okay? We can do credit card through bankruptcy. Why have we decided that student loans can't go through bankruptcy? Why?
Because people typically have an option to stay in college or quit. And I think that is part of the problem with these loans is that banks are not given. So like when you have a credit card, you have a stated income that you've been earning for the last 2 to 4 or 5 plus years, and they're banking on that. When you're getting a student loan, they have no proof that you're going to stay in college. They have no proof you're going to get that education. They have no proof that you're not going to change your major.
So why would you drill down and give that person $250,000?
Bingo. Bingo. That is my point. Why are we doing this when you buy a house, you have collateral that the bank can take back. When you buy a car, they have collateral the bank can take back to recoup those funds in the event you don't pay. But in a student loan, they don't know what you're going to do. You're still a high school graduate. You're still deemed pretty much a knucklehead. And sorry, students, I mean that in the best of ways. But you're not thinking far enough ahead because at this point in your life, it changes every 6 months.
Yeah.
And this is a great conversation. And I really, really appreciate you researching everything and making everybody think.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta do this a multi-part series, okay? Because like I said, There's definitely alternatives, trade schools, community colleges, scholarships and grants, employer tuition things, online hybrid programs. We'll talk about more about that next week. But we've got more people in the waiting rooms. Karla, we love you. I know this is frustrating. We got a lot to talk about. All right. Definitely Teen Sports Radio listeners, tune in next week for more. We'll be back after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Nighttime Ninjas, the truth about calf cramps and growing pains. Hello, hello. This is Dominique here with Santa Barbara Wellness Center, and you are tuned in to Teen Sports Radio, where we talk about all things that teens care about. Your sports, your wellness, your weird little mysteries like, why do your legs suddenly go crampzilla at 2 a.m.? So let's talk about it. Nighttime leg cramps, also known as the rude awakening. You're asleep, dreaming about pancakes and prom, and boom, your leg decides to impersonate a twisted metal cable. You shoot out of bed like you're auditioning for the Cirque du Soleil, and the pain is real. The panic is worse. And then all of a sudden, it's gone, like it never happened. But you're left with the trauma. So what's going on? Why leg cramps happen at night? First, this is super common, especially in teens who are growing, active, or both. And especially after a hard run, practice, hike, dance. Yeah. Calf cramps are basically a muscle throwing a temper tantrum when it's been overworked, dehydrated, or low on minerals like potassium and magnesium or calcium. Translation, your body is texting you, hey, bestie, I'm out of fuel. Help. Man, oh man, did I have the leg cramps when I was little. Oh my gosh. From, growing up 8, 9, 10 years old, all the way through 15, 16. Oh my gosh, leg cramps. Yeah. So muscles contract and then relax, and that's their job. But when they don't get what they need, they get stuck in like a contracted part. Ouch. So everybody calls them growing pains. And what are they really? Let's talk about these growing pains. Kids usually get them between the ages of 3 to 12. But teens can still feel them during big growth spurts. They're usually felt in the thighs, the calves, behind the knees, and they always come at night. Why? Because that's when your body is in a deep repair mode. You're not using your muscles during the day, so the nervous system and the circulation shifts gears. And that shift can cause pain in areas that are rapidly stretching. Muscles, bones, ligaments, they're all adjusting to your amazing new height or athletic gains. Some scientists say it's not the bones growing that causes the pain because, well, it's the soft tissue around them adapting to your new lengths and loads. Like your body's scaffolding is trying to catch up with your skyscraper vibes. And so, no, it's not in your head. And yes, it's got a name, growing pains. Yeah. But again, why does it happen at night? Because night is when your brain quiets down enough to feel what your body's been whispering probably all day long. So let's go over it. Cramping versus growing pains. What's the difference? So when you get a calf cramp, and it's sudden, sharp, and intense, yeah, that's a cramp. But if it's achy, dull, and sometimes throbbing, that's a growing pain. How about your muscle locks or tightens? That's a cramp. And when your muscle just feels sore or tired, that's a growing pain. Maybe it happens after or during some heavy activity, that's a cramp. If it happens at night, and sometimes it happens not after a hard run, that's growing pains. If you're able to stretch and that relieves it very quickly, that's a cramp. And if you have to massage and maybe hop into a hot bath, those are growing pains. So what can you, teens, what can you do about it? Let's go natural, okay? We've got acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. So they suggest that night cramps are actually linked to your liver and kidneys. Yeah, there might be a little imbalance there. The liver stores and cleans the blood, and the kidney stores the essence. Both help nourish your tendons and muscles. So there is this acupressure point I want you to try. It's LV3. It's called Liver 3. It's literally called the Great Surge. It's located between the top of your foot in the hollow between your big toe and your second toe. You want to press there firmly for about 30 seconds on each foot before you go to sleep. It helps move the liver qi, and it helps relieve pain. And bonus, try wearing warm socks. That helps. And sometimes I do warm socks. I'll even put a little bit of Vicks on the bottom of my feet. That helps too. So I added chewable calcium magnesium when I was a kid, and wow, that seemed to help. The low magnesium is definitely either growing pain or a leg cramp. It's your best friend. And often teens don't get enough magnesium and calcium in their diet, especially if you're guzzling sodas and you're not eating your green vegetables. So if you can find a chewable calcium magnesium, ask your parents for help. You might be able to heal yourself of those growing pains. Now, you also want to stretch like a cat. Before you go to bed, try doing gentle downward dog, or maybe even some calf stretches, or turn and put your legs up on the wall just for a few minutes before you go to sleep. You just want to stretch out your legs. Your legs will really appreciate the love. And you really need to hydrate like you mean it. Dehydration is sneaky. It catch-ups on us. If you wait until you're thirsty, it's actually too late. Those sports drinks, wow, most of them are sugar bombs. You want to try things like coconut water, alkaline water, and you can even just toss a little pinch of sea salt or squeeze a little bit of lemon. That adds electrolytes. So hydrate. Try the hot bath water with Epsom salts. Epsom salts has magnesium sulfate. See if that hot bath before bed helps you from getting leg cramps in the middle of the night. And you want to eat for recovery. So after you've had that hard run or a hard workout, you want to make sure that you're eating things like bananas and sweet potatoes, pumpkin seeds and spinach, and hey, almonds, sesame seeds. And if you're feeling really wild, how about sardines? Sardines, anyone? Yeah, my mom likes sardines, not me. Okay. But remember, don't just put on a carb load. Your muscles need the amino acids, and proteins help to rebuild, not just bulk up. So a final thought, you really want to respect this message, whether it's growing pains or your leg cramps with an I overdid it cramp. Your body is always whispering. Sometimes it screams, but the goal is listen earlier so that you don't get the full megaphone at 2 a.m. And hey, to all those parents, if your child is waking up crying with leg pains, it's not drama. Snuggle with them, rub their calves, and maybe consider, if you've never done it before, check out your local Chinese acupuncturist and see what they say. And your kids will thank you, because it's really, really painful. So, all right now, my beautiful teens and athletes, stretch it out tonight, hydrate, and maybe hit a few acupuncture points and let that magnesium work its magic. You're not broken. You're actually just becoming stronger and smarter and taller, like a superhero in training. This is Dominique with Santa Barbara Wellness Center. You got this.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio, everyone. This is Sky Ellsworth, and I'm a student at Life Chiropractic College West. And today, I was tuning into the field and just seeing who was going to be listening to this, and it felt like the best thing to talk about was transcending energy neutrality, and what does that really mean? So in previous conversations, we've talked a little bit about energy states. We've talked about what it's like to be energy poor, what it's like to be energy neutral, what it's like to be energy rich. Energy richness is that time when things just start happening, where we're listening to intuition and intuitive impulses. We're listening to everything but our brain, right? Our brain is no longer overriding, but we're actually listening to the call of what we're supposed to be doing here. And then energy super rich, which is a level even beyond that, is really that moment when we have so much energy available that we have that energy for ourselves, but we have so much to give to others as well. Energy neutral is where most people are. There's a low energy neutral and there's a high energy neutral. Low energy neutral is when we're thinking. And it's the lower mind as well, which is all about think. I need to figure this out. I'm in my head all the time. And your brain is what's running the show. And this is really common in school. High school, college especially, you're just swamped every day with learning. I have to memorize this. I have to study for this test. Even if you're on the field playing a game, sometimes it's still, okay, what do I need to do next to score this goal? How can I bypass this person and get to the next one and shoot? And what's the angle and whatever? What's the score? All of these different things that are coming from the brain, from the lower mind. High neutral is more the upper mind. So instead of just think, we're taking those thoughts and we're trying to optimize them. We're trying to understand everything. And understanding is beautiful, and so is thinking. All of these parts of these different energy states we cycle throughout the day, and we need it all to have a full human experience. But we also need to have enough energy available to transcend neutral into energy rich. And energy rich is, again, when you feel those moments where those intuitive impulses come in. And how can we get to that state whenever we want to? And ultimately, the easiest way to get there is to know your purpose. And it's one of the easiest things, but also one of the hardest things. Your purpose is about why you're here on this planet, experiencing what you're experiencing, and living the life that you're living. It's knowing what your gifts are and how you're meant to share them with others and the world around you. And it's not an isolated thing. I was coaching someone through this one time, and they were telling me about themselves, really. They were telling me about what they feel like they're good at and how that benefits them in the life that they're living. In energy rich to energy super rich, we're starting to think about what our purpose here is in a way that influences everyone, that makes a large, global, worldwide impact. Why am I specifically, as a unique individual, here for humanity? Why is that? The minute you know that, and it takes some time, and I would suggest writing down a piece of paper and starting with I am, ... and writing what you are. Who are you? Why are you here? What are you living for? Why are you here on this earth in this moment and sharing the gifts that you have? The minute you tune into that, all of a sudden everything else starts to fall into place and you're effortlessly guided towards that end, toward your mission. And being able to step into energy rich at any given moment is what allows you to accomplish anything without thought. This is that place where manifestation happens effortlessly, where you think a thought and then it's there, where you start to see synchronicities. You see 11-11 all the time because your energy state is higher. There's more energy available for change. But in order to transcend neutral, to get to that energy rich to energy super rich place and having that purpose, we also need to be able to acknowledge and accept when we're in an energy neutral state and understanding what really creates neutral. Neutral is when you have a high and a low and they net out. They net out to zero, to where there's no energy for change. You're comfortable. One of my mentors was telling me, the founder of Network Spinal Chiropractic, was telling me about comfortability and how one of the things that society culturally thinks that we need to have is a work-life balance, and how a work-life balance is actually energy neutral because you've created a balance. You've created comfortable. And comfortable is great when you've been energy poor and now you achieve that level of, okay, this is comfortable and that's okay. Most of the time we will be in that energy neutral, comfortable state. But we want to have enough energy to transcend that, to transform, to have more energy to go above what's comfortable and to do what's necessary for our purpose to affect the world. These are those people who get 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night, which is not a good thing, by the way. You want more hours, you want more sleep than that. But people who don't get much sleep at night because they spend all day aiming towards their purpose, they're publishing things, they're making social media content, they're doing whatever they can to spread their gifts, to spread what is important to them, what they believe their gifts are, to share with the world. And it's important to be able to transcend comfortability to get to that next level of energy to take you higher. And this is in school, this is on the field. You want to be able to have access to higher energy when you know you can see.
I wanted to ask a question. Is energy, when you have that high level of energy, is that an uncomfortable state or is that a comfortable state for creatives?
Generally, you'll find it to be uncomfortable. And I don't mean uncomfortable in every aspect. People that love creativity will enjoy the creative process, but there will always be that level of discomfort. I was about to say uncomfort, but then we switch. English is so weird. Then we switch it to discomfort. There will be a level of discomfort there to be able to take that creativity and take it to another level. Oftentimes, people that are more of a creative mind are often drained by things related to business and more social things that allow what they're doing to be spread. More often than not, you see creative types that have a skill or an art, and they'll have a little shop, maybe an Etsy thing, to share things with others. But are they out there making a worldwide impact? Are they out there making social media content? Do they have a strong vision for why they're doing what they're doing that can affect the world in a global way? There always needs to be a sense of discomfort to take you to a higher level of organization and a higher level of energy.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There's always a reason to transcend your current state. I think that's what you're pushing for, is that transcendence. That is awesome.
That's so cool. What are we going to talk about next week?
I just let it come to me.
The magic.
You let the magic happen. Magic does. That's for sure. Oh, this was really good. Because we got to go, but is there a step from energy neutral to energy rich? Do you do breathing? Do you meditate, or you just jump into the ocean? Like, how's that? Is there a step in between? I don't know if there's a process. We'll talk about it next week because we got next up. You know who's next up, right?
Don Sanders with a hookah.
Yeah. So, do you want to get into that next week, or?
Yeah, we'll get into that next week. It has to do with internal, external, where you're going for your energy.
Okay,
but for
good.
now, for everyone listening in, get comfortable with your purpose.
Oh, I like that. Perfect.
you align with your purpose, your energy instantly.
I love it.
Thank you so much. How do we get a hold of you?
You can email me at thrivehivechiropractic@gmail.com.
You're the best.
Thank you so much, guys.
This to the baby mama. All right, we got Hygge with Don Sanders right after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday.
9 a.m.
For Teen Sports Radio, I'm Don Sanders. DonsMassageOhio.com, 805-236-2684. Here to bring you a Hygge, a Scandinavian term for a comfy, cozy feeling, kind of akin to receiving a hug without actually receiving the physical hug. And as usual, I'll throw down some ideas that I don't have time to fully unpack, but that's just the way it is. And so I want to ponder that, we all need to ponder, what's the best way to live and what's going to happen. Are we living in a good way that we're going to have no regrets when we die? That's, my Buddhist teacher, Daisaku Ikeda, taught us we are beings searching in life for meaning. And as long as we have meaning, we can withstand any suffering. And that was a great Hackett from Dominique last week, who also delved into that. But without meaning, we could have everything we want and we could still be empty inside and our spirit slowly dying. And so, there's an analogy to the life being like a great ocean wave, the ocean is eternally gathering strength, cresting, releasing all this energy, and then that subsides back into the deep and then gets quiet. That's kind of like life and death. So the idea being in Buddhism, we don't just disappear when we die. It's like, our life energy goes on to reappear in other forms. And the thing is, though, there is a reckoning, the way we've lived, the causes we've made, the cause and effect is real. I mean, I'm sure most people have seen it operate in little ways in their lives. And so in a big way, we need to prepare for life's graduation or otherwise death. And that means you watch out for other people and you try and help people where you can. And you think about something besides your own needs, So in today's world, there's a pretty materialistic view. And so since they talked about in The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky, there's a character, Ivan, who says, supposing there is no God, then what would be a crime? Wouldn't all things be lawful? If we replace God with life after death, the same question holds. We could have a world where anything goes so long as you don't get caught. But I'd like to suggest that this is a really miserable way to live. And so you teens and, those on the road to growth and maturation into adulthood, don't be tempted by that shiny apple. Find something that you believe in, that, you have a sense of right and wrong. You have a sense of integrity, non-integrity. So, go towards the integrity, go towards the honest, even if the road's not easy and you're climbing steep hills, keep going that way. That's a kind of the main thing I want to impart here. And, My own mountain climbing intrepid daughter has just returned from a massive outdoor exploration. And I was giving her body work the other day, and she said, Dad, you go down a lot of rabbit holes, but you also do a really good job of closing loops too.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is so beautiful. If I could just add to that, for each individual person, I want teens to know this, you can just ask yourself, do I feel good from the action that I'm choosing? And if your body says yes, it turns on digestion, it turns on the immune system, it turns on all the systems. If you ask yourself, do I feel good? And your body goes, don't feel good. Then you're feeling it. The body is turning off digestion. It's turning off the immune system. So we have our own existential monitor of ethical behavior. We just have to sit and ask ourselves about our actions.
Yeah, you
Well
know, and
said. Well
I think
said.
that's wonderful. And I was reminded of that Buddhist story where the teacher asks his students to go out and make sure no one sees them steal something. And the only person who actually did the exercise correctly was the one person who said, but I saw him. I could always see myself stealing, which was true. Even if nobody else sees if we do something that's not ethical or that's not okay, we see it. So we know that we're a thief. We know that we're a liar. So I think that it's a beautiful thing to like really pay attention. Like, even if we think we're getting away with something, we aren't from our own self, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I like that whole thing of how you said being seen, because honestly, when you're chasing goals, growing stronger every single week, just sometimes just trying to make it through the week, right? I just want to have everybody know that they are really not alone. Like, you just understand you are being seen. Okay. And the community around you, especially Teen Sports Radio, for like 15 years, like, we're doing everything here to support you. We see you. We got your back, which is important. In your mind, if you believe that you're going in not alone, it makes things, it helps, it helps support you, gives you that confidence.
Nice.
So anyways, man, I'm tuckered out. This show is draining. But I like to say thank everybody for being with us today. You're listening to Teen Sports Radio on KZSB AM 1290, the station that talks about Santa Barbara. I always like to close with the same little catchphrase that I stole from Christine Marie, okay? Remember, teens, in the world, all right? You just be you, because everybody is taken. God bless. See you next week.